the Oscar nominations for the Best Actor race. So I'm just going to get the Best Actors up on my screen. So the Oscar nominations 2025. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's get the official list up from the Academy Awards. Okay, good. So here we go. Actor in a leading role. I'm going to analyze the actor and best actresses in the leading role who have been nominated for the Oscar. I have some things, I have some thoughts, and I think some of these races are a little bit up in the air at the moment, I have to say. So let's start off with actor in a leading role. So the nominees are, I'll just go through it one by one and tell you my thoughts of it. So number one, Adrian Brody. It's alphabetical. It's alphabetical by surname. Okay, so Adrian Brody, the brutalist, towering, incredible performance. The full spectrum of emotions is shown here. Literally everything that an actor needs to do to get an Oscar is in this. You've got drug addiction. You've got getting graped. I said graped. You've got an accent. You've got discrimination because you're a minority. You've got World War II. Like, it's got every little thing that you think an actor who deserves to win an Oscar should be portraying. He does all of it in one film. He is incredible. So I actually legitimately think his performance was the best of the year. That's my personal opinion. And I think a lot of people probably agree. However, there's a couple of things. Number one, the film is very long. I'm not 100% sure the Academy, every single member of the Academy is going to watch this all and be able to pay attention to it all. It's a very long film. Number two, there's a little bit of controversy. Adrian Brody, this actor, has had sort of an AI tool used on his voice so that I think it's the accent and language is done sort of really authentically to the time. And I'm like, and I've said this before, but I'm like, well, that's annoying because I'm no longer just seeing his, I guess, choices as an actor. I'm seeing something enhanced, you know? And that's annoying because if anyone's ever enhanced and other people aren't, it feels a little bit unfair. Like, you know, Timothy Chalamet is also nominated. Have they used AI to enhance his voice to sound more like Bob Dylan? I don't know. Like, but if you're allowed to use digital sort of enhancements to your actual performance, I don't know. Is that fair? But then again, I'm like, well, have they used digital enhancements to make, you know, to make you look like you're flying through the air in Wicked? That's obviously not real, but I don't know how to explain it. You know, you wear makeup, that's some kind of enhancement. So yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm in two minds. The voice is such a personal thing. It's an instrument that comes from within you. You communicate through that, you know? And if you start giving it enhancements, it's like, damn, where does the performance end? And I'm not saying that the technology they used on Adrian Brody is strong enough to even be noticeable. You know, perhaps it's barely anything. But it's something, and it's a slippery slope. And I've said that before. I think it is potentially a slippery slope. I do not think we need a computer deciding what's perfect. And that's what AI would kind of doing. So yeah, a bit annoying. I would prefer it if it was another just human editing it. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's a computer deciding what's right, which is annoying to me. It's making it more data. It's like data. This is subjective sort of performances, so I don't know. Anyway, that's the ups and downs of Adrian Brody. We got Timothy Chalamet, who I just mentioned, in A Complete Unknown. His best performance, in my opinion. I honestly thought Timothy Chalamet was a tiny little bit overrated as an actor. People going, he's going to be the next Tom Hanks, he's going to be the next Daniel Day-Lewis. And I was like, you know, he's a good actor, but I've never seen him like, you know, what's Eating Gilbert Grape with Leonardo DiCaprio. When I saw that, I was like, this guy is is the truth, you know. But I've never seen that from Timothy Chalamet. But I saw this, and I saw Bob Dylan in a sense. I was like, he's inhabited, he's done the work, he's an actor, and I just think the acting in it is very, very good, and I think he's got a chance here because I think A Complete Unknown overperformed, which makes me think the Academy as a whole, in general, are quite liking this film. It got nominated in places I didn't expect it to get nominated. So they like it. They really like it. They're nominating it for things. And more than what other people are expecting. So I just think in general, the Academy like it. And I don't think there's too much controversy surrounding this film compared to other films. So I'm like, okay, well, the Academy like this film. Timothy Chalamet's sort of on the way up, in my opinion. So I do think Adrian Brody and Timothy Chalamet are probably the front runners. Next, we got Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. Great performance, great film. I will say a few things, my own opinions. This film got some, news because it stars a lot of real actors who were really convicts in the past or even present, I think. So there's a lot of real convicts in this film. And it's great because the film is about using drama as a tool in prison to help people heal, and putting on plays and doing arts and that kind of stuff, and how that can be so healing to a human. So you'd expect this film to just be like the awards darling. However, in my opinion, my personal opinion, when I heard that fact that there's a lot of real convicts, I was like, that makes sense. And you know why that makes sense to me? Because there's something different about Coleman Domingo in this film compared to the rest of the people. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but after some reflection on the film, I'm like, okay, well, the difference is they're being real. All the other actors are being quite real. They're being really themselves. And they're very believable because they're being real. And Coleman Domingo's acting. And that, I can see the difference, if I'm honest with you. I can see the difference. He is Coleman Domingo, the man, the actor, is putting on a performance, which he's supposed to do. He's an actor. But when you see these other people, they're being kind of real. You watch them and you go, there's no artifice there. There's no sense of pretend for a lot of these other people in it. And for me, it kind of shines a light on Coleman Domingo as like, he's not in it enough. He's not deep enough in it, in my opinion. Because I can see the difference between somebody who is just real and somebody who's acting and putting on a performance. And yeah, I'm just afraid that that's my opinion on this. I think he looks like an actor trying to do the full spectrum of emotions, and he's doing it very, very, very well. It's just, unfortunately, it's juxtaposed with real people, and you're like, that's what real is. I'm watching them in the background, really. I'm watching Clarence Macklin more than you because that's real. It feels real. When I look at it, I don't see artifice, whereas I do see that with Coleman Domingo a little bit. I'm sorry. Great performance. Just, you put yourself in a bad situation where you put yourself opposite real people. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And I just don't think the Academy are enjoying this film as much as people were expecting, because it just didn't get the love. Like, people thought it would win. Like, it would be the big winner of the year. Like, last year, like, all the way back in, like, May and stuff, people were like, Sing Sing is the one. But now it's really not. It's really just, it's become a sort of nothing film. I mean, don't get me wrong, Coleman Domingo still got a chance here, but I think it's a very slim chance. Next is Ralph Fiennes in Conclave. So, Conclave underperformed in the Oscars. Honestly, I think it's on a slightly downwards trajectory. I just think it's a very, very good film, but it's no one's favourite film, unfortunately. And it is really good. The writing's really, really good. The acting's really, really good. But they're all like clerks and priests and bishops and stuff. So they're all very they're kind of one notish, but within that one note, the actors do an incredible good job, because there's lots of shade, but they're all calm and collected. They're all pious. They're all trying to talk with respect. The whole film, and there are moments of passion and stuff, but especially from Ralph Fiennes, it's very subdued. It's very collected, like I say, calm and collected. And he is doing a great job to just within the limitations of that to show real interest. And I was like captivated throughout the whole film. I really was. I'm just saying, perhaps he's on the back foot here because he's given less. He's given less, really, to do, which in my opinion is really, really impressive, that you can have less to do yet be captivating. Still, I think that's a sign of a wonderful performance, a wickedly good performance. I would put it probably at the same level as Timothée Chalamet. I'd put it there at number 2, but I just think, I think it underperformed in the rest of the nominations. I'm not sure the Academy are like thinking this was one of the best of this. I just don't think they think this is their favourite film of the year. It's no one's favourite, really. It's just a very, very, very good film, but it's no one's favourite. So that's just, it is what it is. I think it's slightly on a downwards trajectory at the moment, along with Sing Sing and along with The Brutalist. I think all 3 of those films are on a downwards trajectory. Next, we got Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. This is one that I thought, actually, I predicted this one. I think Sebastian Stan had an amazing year for film with A Different Man and The Apprentice. He's so good in this film. He doesn't do the impression. He doesn't do the voice. He doesn't go around doing the classic Donald Trump voice. I can't do it at all, so don't even ask me to try. But he doesn't do that. But the mannerisms, the temperament, the progression from a young guy into the Donald Trump we know, it's so subtle, and then eventually you're like, it gets there, and you're like, before you know it, you're like, oh my god, I'm watching Donald Trump. Because I have to say, the first bit of the film, you're like, ooh, he looks a little bit like Donald Trump, but not really, and doesn't really sound like Donald Trump either, and isn't really even acting like Donald Trump. But fair enough, I'll just watch this film, it's quite good. And then at some point, through the back door, somehow they sneak in, and my brain is just like, hold on, I'm fucking watching Trump here. The gradual sort of metamorphosis into Donald Trump, it's so gradual that you barely notice it. But when you're there, you're like, everything is so Donald Trump. Every single intonation of the words that he's saying, even though he's not necessarily ever doing the impression or the voice, it's just the impetus behind the things that he says and does. It's so Donald Trumpy. I have to say, like, when it gets there, I think it's spot on by the end of the film. By the last, like, fucking, I don't know, half an hour of the film, you're just like, it is spot on Donald Trump. Every motivating factor behind every syllable feels Donald Trumpy without ever feeling like an impression of Donald Trump. I think it's world-class acting. For me, I think it's one of the best performances of the year as well. I'd put that up there with Adrian Brody, honestly. But yeah, I'm not sure it's got the support. I think people think this performance is very good. I think people just hate Donald Trump, and therefore they're just like, I don't want to vote for it. I don't want anything to do with Donald Trump. I'm not even going to vote for it. And that's kind of what I feel is happening. I just feel like it's kind of been at the bottom of the pack, and I don't think it's very, very much progressing. It's not going up, but it's not dipping either. It's just a bit kind of out of the conversation, out of the loop. But personally, I thought it was wonderful. But yeah, I'm going to go out on the limb and say Timothée Chalamet will win. I think Adrian Brody was the best performance of the year. I think Sebastian Stan was probably the best performance of the year as well. I think those two are at the top. But I think Timothée Chalamet is going to win. The trajectory of A Complete Unknown is too good. It's too good to deny. And yeah, I just think it's a very good performance. I do think Ralph Fiennes is like along the lines of Timothée Chalamet as well, just slightly under those two other performances that I mentioned. But I think Ralph Fiennes doesn't have the support Domingo doesn't have the support, so Chalamet, I reckon he might just edge it. But I'd be very happy if Adrian Brody won it. I think his performance was. I would scream if Sebastian Stan, but he'll never win it. Right, so let's move on to Best Actress in a Leading Role. So we've got Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. The Ozdos ballroom scene where Ariana Grande, her character, has this horrible hat, and she's like, I don't hate anybody enough to give this hat to them because it's so horrible and ugly. And then she sees Cynthia Erivo's character, Elphaba, and she's like, I'll give it to Elphaba. So she gives it to Elphaba, and she's like, come to this school party, this ball. And so Elphaba goes, and Ariana Grande knows that she sort of tricked her into wearing this ugly hat, and she's going to get there, and everyone's going to laugh at her. So Ariana Grande gets there, but then she's asked by this teacher to join this very, very this special class to learn this special magic, I guess I can say. And it's all because Cynthia Erivo's character sort of vouched for her. And that's the only reason she's in this special class. And Ariana Grande is like, oh no, she did a really nice thing for me. She got me into this special class. And I've been a bitch. And I've given her this ugly hat. She's going to come in and everyone's going to laugh at her. And then in walks Cynthia Erivo. And the music kind of stops. And everyone looks at her and laughs because she's got that stupid hat on. And she walks into the middle of the dance floor. Ariana Grande feels really bad, and Cynthia Erivo walks in, and I'm mentioning this because I think this was the best bit of acting, in my opinion. Great performance. She walks in, and she starts doing this weird dance. It's not conventional dancing in the Land of Oz. It's just strange. It's disjointed. It doesn't look too rhythmically. It doesn't look very good, really. But she puts it on. She does this dance. And people are laughing at her because it looks bad. But she is putting up a front. And Cynthia Erivo does this so well. She wants to act brave. And there's a bit where Jonathan Bailey goes, wow, she doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks. And Ariana Grande quite rightly recognizes, as we recognize as the audience, yes, she does. She just pretends not to. And it's heartbreaking. And the music is heartbreaking. And it's this brave face. But it's somebody who wants to cry. But she won't cry. And that's a sign of great acting, right? To not do the thing that you want to do. Because that's what we do in real life. Whenever you want to cry, you try your hardest not to in real life. You don't want people to see you do that. So you try not to cry. You know? You try to stifle your laugh. People always try to not do the thing. So when an actor does a thing, I'm like, come on. In real life, you wouldn't do the thing. You try and hide it because everybody's a little bit self-conscious about things. And that's what Cynthia Erivo is doing here. She's hiding the fact that she wants to cry. A lesser actress might just cry there. She might be crying whilst dancing, but she doesn't. She puts on the brave face, but you can see she wants to cry. And then Ariana Grande steps up and starts dancing with her. This weird, awkward dance. And still Cynthia Erivo is putting on a brave face, but she so wants to cry that just a tear comes down. Just one. And you can see her lip like she wants to cry, but because she's such a good actress, she holds it in. And that makes it sadder. As Ariana Grande sort of wipes the tear from her face and she's like, I've got you. I know you're trying to put on a brave face. I know you don't want to cry in front of everyone. Let's just keep dancing. And the sisterhood between these two is formed at this moment. And it's so beautiful. And it made me cry because it's like, this girl, she just wants to cry. She just wants to be accepted. And the only person who's accepting her is the person who hated her the most. She came onto the stage, wiped that tear away, and Cynthia Erivo is just like, just sniffling in. She's never going to give it to us. Like, we want her to cry so bad in that moment, but she does not fucking give it to us. And that is such great acting. It's so good. And I think, to me, I think she's the third best performance of the year. After all that, I think she's the third best performance of the year. So I don't think she's going to win. But she's not going down in terms of popularity. I think she's pretty steady. The next person is going down. Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. So Carla Sofia Gascon in Emilia Perez has released some very, very very bad tweets, let's just say, in the past. And so, even though she's been nominated for all these Oscars, everybody's like, oh, this lady was not a nice person at all in the past. And basically everyone seems to hate her now. And she's deleted her Twitter, and she's not coming to these award ceremonies at the moment, and she's not going to win. She did a good job in the movie, but she's not going to win. I have some thoughts about this. For one, I'm like, it's a bit annoying that the reason she's not going to win is because of tweets. Like, is this the award ceremony for the best tweet? Is this what this has like become, or is this the award ceremony for best performance? You know, like if it's the award ceremony for best tweet, just let me know. Then I'll start looking at everyone's Twitter more. I don't look at people's X or Twitter, you know? And apparently if you're not very good on Twitter, or you say something that people don't like, that means your performance was bad and you won't win. But, so that's one side of my brain. The other side of my brain is it's a subjective art form. And you go in and you watch a performance, and it's a subjective decision that you're making about their performance. And your subjectivity it is affected by everything. Your subjective enjoyment of a performance is like, if you haven't eaten before, you'll feel different about a performance than if you have eaten. You know, everything affects your subjective experience of what you're watching. If you're really, really sleepy, you might not enjoy a performance as much than if you're really, really alert and awake. You know, all these different things. So if you're going in to watch a performance and you know this person is horrible, it just will affect your opinion and enjoyment of an actual performance. So in that respect, I'm like, well, I guess they still are judging it on what they experienced in terms of whether it was good or not, because there's no objective good acting or objective bad acting. It's all subjective, which just means it's all just opinion in the end. And your opinion is affected by absolutely everything around you, including whether or not you like the person. Unfortunately, that is just the case. So in that sense, I'm like, well, I guess, yeah, fair enough. But in the other sense, I'm like, we should try and forget about the tweets. We should try and forget if we're feeling really sort of uncomfortable or hungry when we're watching the film, or really tired. We should try and forget if we're feeling really good as well. That might be making us think a performance was even better than it was. We should be as neutral as possible, but that's just not possible because we're living human beings, and we are sort of affected by absolutely everything that is around us. There's so much stimuli, right? So it is what it is, I'm afraid. So Carla Sofia Gascon. But yeah, you've really damaged your career, and you've really you've made it like if what's her name, Zoe Saldana doesn't win, it'll be because of Carla Sofia Gascon, because she's just not a nice person. Well, at least she wasn't. Anyway, next, Mikey Madsen Honora. This was probably my favourite performance of the year, I would say. I just think the performance was towering. There was so much vinegar to her. She didn't stop. She fought every second of that film for what she believed she deserves. The character was so realistic. The accent, the behavior, the way the actress never judged her character that she was playing. It really felt like a character was loved by its actress, whether or not it's loved by the world that she inhabits. Obviously not. That she goes through a lot of shit, but the actress loves her, and I don't know a better way to describe it. There's no judgment of this character from the director, from the actor, from the writers. It's just, this is what this character does. Yes, she's a sex worker and exotic dancer or whatever, and you can have your opinions on that, but this character, the writers and director and the actress loves this character and does not judge her for it. The character can judge herself a little bit maybe, but we don't judge it. And yeah, and then as an audience we don't really judge it. We don't really watch this character with judgmental eyes at all. And the character is, you root for this character so much, and she's got so much gumption and feist to her, and also putting on a brave front like Cynthia Erivo. And she's just a force of nature, completely believable. You know, if I ever spoke to Mikey Madsen, I would be expecting to speak to Honora. You know, no, she's not like that at all. But the character is so well inhabited and so loved that I just think phenomenal. And I think she is potentially going to win. Potential. But then we've got Demi Moore in The Substance. The mirror scene in and of itself was so good. Like, so much potential to win. She's probably Mikey Madison's. I actually do think she just edges it. I mean, The Substance was such a good film, and her performance, she was born to play that. She's just perfect in the role. I'm just going to say the mirror scene. Like, go and watch that film and watch that mirror scene. The acting in that film is so relatable. The acting in that scene is like, I know in my veins what that feels like. And I don't even do that. I don't wear makeup, so I don't do that, but I just know in my veins what that feels like. It's so well portrayed. And then finally we got Fernanda Torres. I'm probably saying it wrong, for I'm Still Here. I haven't seen the film, but I've had a few comments in my last videos just saying some great facts about this lady. I'm going to watch the film, I think, next week. So I'm really excited to see it, but I think she's on the up and coming as well. I think we've got Mikey Madsen, Demi Moore, Fernanda Torres are right up there now. And Cynthia Erivo underneath them. And then Carla Sofia Gascon at the bottom. I think Demi Moore is going to win. That's what I've got. Demi Moore for the win for actress in a leading role. Let me know what you thought. I would love to hear your thoughts on the actor and the actress race. And yeah, just tell me what you think about the AI controversy, about the Twitter controversy. And tell me that you loved Mikey Madsen and Nora, because god damn, that performance was as good as I've ever seen. Just as good as I've ever seen.